Hi, so my name is Theodore, but this is my channel, Lil Polyglot, because I like to make music. Feel free to check it out here on my channel in different languages, and also because I love rap and because I'm a polyglot. I speak a lot of languages. So one thing I really love about learning languages is using all the different tools and media that we have access to, and one of those that's relatively new and it's kind of exploding at the moment is, of course, I'm sure you've heard of it, ChatGPT and these large language models. ChatGPT being one of the most multilingual of them, it literally, as far as I can see, knows every language that can be read on the internet. And kind of like people with fluency often say, how can you know if you're fluent? Well, can you understand someone well enough to guess what's the next word that they're going to say? Can you finish their sentence, as it were? Here, that's kind of what they do. With these models, it's kind of what comes next and what comes next from there. And it's amazing because with that, you end up with things that show an incredible amount of knowledge. People say the computer is not thinking, but I don't think we understand well enough how humans think to say the computer is not thinking. Anyhow, so I asked ChatGPT after I tried a couple of different prompts, but I've done all different types of things, from like playing Dungeons and Dragons in Swedish with it, to having it create rap lyrics, to asking it to create a simple text in Catalan or in Russian, even with intertext, with explanations, or with Arabic, which I'm working on. But anyhow, I decided to make this script and make this video using the language that I feel either I'm fluent in, like you'll see, French and Spanish and German, etc., or I'm feeling like I'm moving towards fluency, like Catalan, Dutch, and Norwegian. So I asked GPT this was the prompt. I said, write an engaging script for YouTube about tips to learn and practice different languages. I will be reading it as I film myself. Give a short introduction in English about how we, Lil Polyglot and GPT-4, created this text. Then give different and creative language learning tips in each language, one that is general and one that is specific to that language. They don't have to involve using artificial intelligence or technology, but that is a plus. Parts of the script should be each around 100 to 250 words long. There should be parts in French, Spanish, German, English, Swedish, Italian, Portuguese, Latin, Catalan, Dutch, and Norwegian. Each part should be different from the others. Don't repeat the same advice in different languages. So I'm just going to read this, with reactions a little bit, and let's see what we got. So here we have, hey everyone. Welcome to Lil Polyglot, the channel dedicated to making language learning fun and engaging. In this video, I'm teamed up with GPT-4, an advanced AI language model, to bring you a multilingual guide full of creative tips for learning and practicing different languages. We'll be diving into French, Spanish, German, Swedish, Italian, Portuguese, Latin, Catalan, Dutch, and Norwegian. Let's get started. So we get French. Salut à tous. Aujourd'hui, nous allons vous donner des conseils pour apprendre et pratiquer le français. Astuces générales. Écoutez des podcasts français pour améliorer votre compréhension orale. Essayez Inner French ou Coffee Break French. Astuces spécifiques au français. Faites attention aux liaisons entre les mots. Par exemple, les amis se prononce les amis. Cela vous aidera à mieux comprendre et parler la langue. Yeah, so far it's interesting because they're giving specific examples like inner French or coffee break French, as well as the idea of listening to podcasts to improve your oral comprehension. But the other tips about, les liaisons, I don't find that quite as useful for someone who's learning that. You learn that as you go. It's not really a helpful thing to focus on as far as building your understanding. I don't think it just becomes obvious. So here is the next one, Spanish. Hola a todos. Ahora compartiremos consejos para aprender y practicar el español. Castellano. Consejo general. Aprovecha las series de televisión en español para aprender vocabulario y expresiones coloquiales. Prueba con La Casa de Papel o Elite. Yeah, I made it through almost all one season of Elite and several episodes of La Casa de Papel, but I know they're incredibly popular. And I even had students who watched them and didn't realize they were, made in Spanish. They watched one in Portuguese or English or whatever. So you have consejo específico para el español. Practica el uso de los verbos ser y estar. I feel like they got these tips from language teachers. Oh my goodness. And I'm not a fan of this part. Aunque ambos significan to be, en inglés tienen usos distintos en español. Yo estoy cansado de enseñar ser y estar. Ja. German. Hallo zusammen. Jetzt geben wir euch Tipps zum Deutschlernen. Allgemeiner Tipp. Nutzt deutsche Musik. Ja, Mann. Um euren Wortschatz und eure Aussprache zu verbessern. Probiert Bands wie Rammstein. I've actually had a lot of students who, when I taught German, who learned German because of Rammstein, and I still run into people that are like, when we talk about German, they're like, Rammstein. But die Fantastische Vier, they were a rap group from the 90s, maybe? And one of the kind of the first one, and they're kind of cringy now, but Vier gewinnt. But there's so much good music out there, and it's so easy to find it now with YouTube or Spotify. Spezieller Tipp für Deutsch: Achte auf die Artikel der, die, das. Yeah, which is just a cross to bear for anyone coming from a language that doesn't have cases and gender of nouns, but yeah. Und die Kasus, but I think that comes with, so kommt mit der Zeit, yeah, it comes with time, and also, wenn man liest viel und hört viel, when you listen a lot and read a lot, it just becomes normal. You get the Sprachgefühl, the feel for the language, where you feel it sounds right, So übt regelmäßig. Ich werde sagen, lies oder hör oder guck, ja, regelmäßig. I don't think you need to work the language regularly, but I think you need to obviously consume the language regularly. Um ein Gefühl für die richtige Anwendung zu entwickeln, right? All right, so we're continuing. Let me just scroll down a bit here. Then we have come to Swedish. Hej alla, nu är det dags för tips om att lära sig och över svenska. Allmänt tips: använd språkutbytespar som tandem eller hellertalk för att träna på svenska med infödda talare. Which is, yeah, definitely an allmänt tip. And you could, because, yeah, they're both great places to find an enormous quantity of native speakers who want to speak with each other in the past, they both have a reputation for having problems with people believing they were a dating app, and using a dating app in a kind of like a harassing fashion. There's also people, obviously, who've like met their boyfriend, girlfriend, or their future husband or wife with these two apps because they really encourage talking to each other and getting to know each other in the language. They also now have these talk rooms that are kind of like Clubhouse, where you can go in and just listen to people talk or participate. And that, I think that's good, because especially because that gets rid of the whole like stranger danger, weird people harassing people and so on, because those people can just get kicked out and you're with other people, so you feel safer speaking. Så vi har specifikt svensk tips fokuserar på att lära dig de svenska vokalljuden, eftersom den kan vara utmanande för nybörjare. It is hard. Öva på att uttala långa och korta vokaler korrekt. I'm not sure I can, but I enjoy it. Yeah. But again, when they tell you to focus on the thing that's most difficult, that's a teacher thing. And really, I think you got to focus on the thing that's most useful at the beginning, and focus on the things that's most productive and that allows you to understand more and more quickly and enjoy it. So we got ciao a tutti, ecco alcuni consigli per imparare e praticare l'italiano. Suggerimento generale: leggete ad alta voce articoli o brani di libri per migliorare la vostra pronuncia. Or better yet, have listen to someone read it aloud, or have you can have your device, your phone, read it to you, or your Kindle. Google Books has this read aloud fiction function for pretty much all the books, and you can also download books that are from the 19th century and so on that are still modern Italian or any other language, but you can have Google read it to you with a really good voice. But also listening to podcasts and professional people, and obviously watching videos and films with the subtitles there or without is going to help you with pronunciation. The more you listen, the more your pronunciation is going to improve. But it's fun though to play with text and suggerimento, and it helps you sometimes focus on what you're reading. In fact, they don't know if the ancient Romans even had silent reading. Suggerimento specifico per l'italiano: studiati, praticati verbi riflessivi, come alzarsi o vestirsi. Again, I feel like these things were written by it's learned this from bad language teachers. But yeah, those. Why should you practice and study the stuff that's difficult? It's going to come with time and it'll become easy. Focus on the stuff that is useful at the beginning, and when it's easy for you to understand what people are saying, you're not going to have problems saying vistiti or mi alzo molto time, tutti I giorni alle 5 della mattina or something. I get up every day at 5 in the morning. And yes, I got tongue-tied there. Sono comune della lingua italiana importanti per esprimere azioni quotidiani. Yeah, it's just like, well, that's what language teachers do. We do a lot of time in French, Portuguese, Italian, like je me lève, or me levanto, or me alzo. Mi alzo, mi visto. It's at the same time, they're incredibly common, so you just get used to it very quickly once you have a basic understanding a basic understanding. It's the basic comprehension. Portuguese. Olá a todos. Todos. Vamos compartilhar dicas para aprender e praticar o português. Dica de geral: assista a filmes brasileiros ou portugueses como legendas em português para melhorar sua compreensão auditiva. Dica específica para português: pratique a pronúncia do ao e on. São nasais típicos do português como coração e leões. Yeah, I mean, again, it's trying to focus on what's difficult, but it's also fun. No, nasal sounds are fun. But I still find it difficult. I'm very used to nasal sounds from French, but Portuguese was the last language I've learned to like a B2, C1 level. Anyhow. Então, eu acho que sim, isso é muito útil, sobretudo escutar música. Eu aprendo muito lendo também livros, artigos na internet, mensagens com outras pessoas, aprendendo línguas. Tudo isso pode ser muito útil. Sobretudo, o que é importante é encontrar muitas coisas fáceis que você pode assim consumir com compreensão e também de jeito agradável, porque se isso é penoso, se você não curte o que você está fazendo, você vai já ter como ideias negativas como vinculados com isso, como e melhor também se você, also if you think of it as work or painful or whatever, it's eventually normally we want to quit. So here we have lingua latina. Salvete omnes, nunc concilia discendum excernum latinam vobis offerimus. Concilium generale legite textus classici sicut de bello gallico, which is a relatively easy read. Also, the Vulgate is like a super easy read compared to classical texts. There's also a bunch of easy Latin books that have been made recently, in the sense like they've translated Harry Potter into Latin. They've translated The Wimpy Kid into Latin. But also, if you look, for example, on the Gutenberg project online for those free books or in the Google Books, you can find also lots of Latin translations of 19th, 18th century books, probably, again, to give some easy reading. But yeah, you can read like Robinson Crusoe or something, or Tom Sawyer in Latin. But anyhow, back to this. Legite textus classici. There's also Ritchie's Fabulae Facilis. It's really good and easy. Legite textus classici sicut bello gallico a Caesare aut metamorphosis ab Ovidio ut vocabulum augeatis. Concilium speciale ad linguam latinam disciti et medatamini us nunum casum grammaticorum ut nominativus, genitivus et dativus. The whole nominative, dative, genitive, accusative, all that. Yeah, it's like you have a lot of in German, but not in many modern Romance languages. Haec vobis auxilio erunt in structuris and obviously you have it in Slavic languages. Haec vobis auxilio erunt in structuris sententariam intelligendis. Yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, honestly, it is kind of important to understand it, but you get it with the context. And if you read, for example, I strongly recommend Lingua Latina, Per se illustrata from Hans Oederberg. Just amazing. He's a legend. He created a totally inductive way to learn the language, where the text is so level that literally you can read the first sentence and and understand it, and then just go on from there without having to look up anything. He does, if it's a picture or something. I mean, sometimes he'll have like a picture or something on the side, if it's something that really you need to see. But otherwise, it's an amazing book, and he's also wrote annotated versions of the classic and so on. So Catalan is a language I started trying to learn way back when I was 22, after I had met a girl from Barcelona. I say girl because at the time I was a boy, and since now I'm a man. But I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. And she, after we met and spent an evening together, we had then a correspondence by paper mail. And I mean, email was still kind of a new-ish thing, I guess. And letters just make you feel a little bit more connected. But it's definitely a language I started a long time ago, but more recently I've really made a lot more progress with. I took some classes over the summer with a great teacher on italki, and also been watching those amazing videos you have on YouTube, the Easy Catalan from that Easy Languages series, and also just watching. There's now some Catalan series too on Netflix, which is awesome. So you have hola a tothom, ara parlarem de consells per aprender a praticar català. Consell geral, feu servir aplicações como Duolingo ou Memrise para aprender vocabulário e frases básicas em catalã. Yeah, Memrise is amazing. It seems like it's just a flashcard app, but it's just so fast. I mean, Duolingo seems like it's more holistic in the sense it's got a lot of more different functionality, I guess. But Memrise just has it so good with depends on the deck. They're kind of flashcard decks, but it just has it done so well as far as giving you more repetition when you're struggling, and then going fast when you're flying through, that you don't have the problem I find a lot of people complain about with Duolingo, is either like, oh, I'm not understanding anything, it's too hard now, or in which case means that they needed more of that repetition beforehand, or the kind of, oh, I've gone for the whole thing and I don't know, I can't speak or something. Versus, I don't know, Memrise, I feel like it keeps you more where you actually are in your level, and you can go as fast as you want, literally. So, Consell foi servir aplicações como Duolingo ou Memrise para aprender vocabulário e frases básicas em catalã. And you can tell from my accent that I am not a fluent Catalan speaker. Consell específic para català, familiarizeu-vos amb les letras com na lista e canhão, que são características de catalã e podem ser difíceis para os principiantes. And that is true. One's like y, and the other one's like kind of a little bit halfway between the L sound and the y sound, like the like you have in Spanish, like llover and so on, but it's a little bit more in between those. Then we have Dutch, which is another language like Catalan, where I have a very good understanding, more than just like, oh, I understand Dutch because I speak German. No, it's because that made it easier. But no, it's from watching Dutch stuff, reading stuff, listening to music, so on. So here, hallo allemaal. Nu geven we tips voor het leren, het oefenen van het Nederlands. Algemene tip voor Nederlandse YouTubers zoals Zondag met Lubach. I haven't even looked these two up yet, but I think it's amazing. It's giving specific tips of YouTubers and apps. og Niki-tutorials om je luisterwaardigheid te verbeteren. Specifieke tip voor het Nederlands: oefen het uitspreken van de Nederlandse g en sk klanken, zoals in gracht is schön, gracht is schön, die lastig kunnen zijn for beginners. And yeah, they are hard for beginners. And actually, that's one of the reasons Dutch is for some people considered, and for me definitely considered, a difficult language. Not because of to read it's not difficult, but hearing somehow for people who are not used to it's hard to kind of parse it, to process it, to hear what's actually being said. Same thing you have sometimes with Portuguese of Portugal, and that's not me, an original idea. That's lots of people have said that. So here we come to Norwegian, norsk. Hei alle sammen. Nå skal vi tips for å lære og øve på norsk. Generelt tips, bruk norske barnebøker og tegneserier som Pelle og Proffen eller Donald Duck for å lære enkelt språk og kultur. Yeah, actually, the first really easy thing I watched in Norwegian was this series, the one that's an adaptation of Cassandra Clare's books. Kind of a B-grade fantasy TV show. The book is much more complex and interesting, but it was awesome for having comprehensible input in Norwegian, because it's kind of soapy, and so people speak clearly and with lots of dramatic acting and so on, and it was just well dubbed too. But there's lots of other stuff, that's like lots of cartoons you can watch in Norwegian, and plus there's also many people that you can watch real Norwegian programming online, from the Norwegian state television station website. So but for easier stuff, YouTube has a ton. Well, YouTube always has a ton, but what I meant was Netflix has a ton of children's and easy to understand series that have Norwegian dubs, as well as they have original Norwegian programs. Like Skam was incredibly popular for everyone around the world, or more recently you've got that the Thor, where the boy is in this Norwegian village and he discovers he's the reincarnation of Thor or something, and the pollution is being caused by the people who are the evil Norse people. Anyhow, det viktig å vite forskjellene for å kunne forstå og bruke begge formene korrekt. I just skipped a whole line, that's why. Spesifikt norsk tips øvdet på å skille mellom bokmål og nynorsk til norske skriftspråkene. So they have two written versions of the language. But yeah, I mean, really, Norwegian is written very similar to Danish, spoken very similar to Swedish, and it's just kind of this whole linguist continuum going through those places with lots of mutual comprehensibility and lots of puzzled, what the heck is the person saying, especially if it's Danish and you're not Danish. So no more commentary, just GPT-4 here We hope these tips helped you on your language learning journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Lil Polyglot for more language tips and to hear some bangers in different languages. And let us know in the comments which languages you'd like us to cover next. Happy learning and see you in the next video. And I even had it then write me some engaging title, description, and metadata and image suggestions for the thumbnail, which I'm going to use actually after I finish filming this. So they gave me unlock your inner polyglot, 10 unique language learning tips in 10 languages. Yeah, because I don't think there's any tips in English. So it's really, 11 languages, but 10 languages tips. Description: are you ready to level up your language learning skills? Join Lil Polyglot and GPT-4 as we reveal 10 creative tips for learning and practicing French, Spanish, German, Swedish, Italian, Portuguese, Latin, Catalan, Dutch, and Norwegian. These multilingual tips will not only boost your learning, but also add a fun twist to your daily practice. Don't miss out on these game-changing language language hacks. And then it suggested some thumbnails, one of which I tried to make with Wally. And I'll pull that up here, and this may require a little bit of editing. Hold on. I can't really pull it up anyhow because I'm just recording this page. But yeah, I'll finish with that. And I'll put it on that after. Anyhow, thanks for the listen. Please write comments. Let me know what you're interested in. Trash my Norwegian, Catalan, whatever you want. But have a good language learning journey, and I hope to soon see you again, or have you see me again, as we both continue our own multilinguistic journeys. Peace.